We have an organization here in Nantucket called Sustainable Nantucket, very much like a lot of communities do. And it's really devoted to, here we are, a very isolated place. I mean, we really depend on the ships bringing in our supplies. So Sustainable Nantucket is trying to make us less dependent on that. I have to grab a video because I took a video in the field. They have this farm to school program with the most inspired farm to school manager, teacher, educator, Calin Duke, Sustainable Nantucket's farm to school manager. And there's something in here, and she has a question for you. And I want your reaction to this because you will help every single family who still has a kid at home.
So one principle in teaching that a lot of teachers know, and parents are probably familiar with it as well, is ownership. And Michael and I were just talking about how when you're in the garden and maybe you've grown the food yourself or you've picked it yourself, you have a little bit of ownership of it, right? It's you're more invested in the plant. And so in the farm to school garden, we see kids eating food that maybe they wouldn't eat at home. I've had parents, so I was telling Michael, I've had parents come in and see their kids eating things like kale that they've been trying to get them to eat for months and maybe years, and the kids munching on it raw, delightfully. Or delightedly. So one of my questions is, once they've got that enthusiasm for vegetables, right? They're picking them, they're eating them. How do we carry that forward into the kitchen?
When children grow their own vegetables, they will eat them, even if it's something that they normally turn their noses up at. And that's the whole, Alice Waters started this program, 25 years ago, of the edible schoolyard. And that was the whole point of that, was that, children would look at kale, for instance, and if they had grown it, they would bring it into the kitchen. And that program brings the kids into the kitchen. And the amazing thing about the edible schoolyard program is that they then take it home. So their parents then start eating kale. I mean, their parents who, have been eating nothing but fast food, suddenly their kids are saying, taste this, it's really delicious. And, there's a nationwide move to bring a food curriculum into the schools, so that children learn math through food and history through food. I mean, it's one of the reasons I started writing about food was that it's an easy way to capture people's attention. And once they think that they're reading about something delicious, you can then move it to another subject, and people don't quite realize, but suddenly you're talking about anthropology or sociology or politics, and it's through this subject that captures all of our imaginations.
It's a great way to deliver curriculum like science and math and art through hands-on activity, which for a lot of children is where they learn best. So I have a background in education, and that's my side of things. It's a lot of fun, and personally what I've noticed is kids who have learning disabilities or maybe second language learners, it's really a place where they can excel. And so they have a space that's safe for them to learn in ways that make sense to them and make discoveries in ways they're not going to feel maybe boxed in the same way they might in an academic setting.